Hello, and thank you for tuning into this episode of Animals and Ames. My name is Ron. I'm the Animal Control Supervisor here for the Ames Animal Shelter and Animal Control Program. We got some wild kittens here today, so we're doing the kitten shuffle. We want to introduce you to Mojo Jojo, who is the black one here. Elliot is the orange tabby, kind of buff color. And then we have Petriture, which is the white and black one here. These three came in as individual strays. So from three different families here. Mojo Jojo's trying to eat the microphone and getting a little wild here. But these guys all came in as individuals, but the best thing for kittens is that they're with their siblings and can stay with mom until they're ready to be adopted. So since we don't know, be nice there, dear friend. Since we don't know their history and what happened to mom, we put these guys together so they can be with each other. It helps them learn behaviors. When they're biting too hard, they teach each other that's too much. And if they're using their nails inappropriately too, that will also help to get them to be good little kitties and be good for their adoptive home. So as I try to shuffle some kitties here, these guys are actually not available for adoption right now. They still need to be spayed or neutered. And of course, we make sure that all the animals that are adopted from the shelter are spayed or neutered before they go home. So we've kind of had a bit of a kitten explosion here at the shelter. Again, a lot of them are still waiting to be adopted, or I'm sorry, waiting to be old enough for their spay and neuter surgeries. Once they're old enough, we'll get them scheduled for surgery and have them in our adoption room. But these guys here are just a bundle of joy, as all kittens are. You can see how playful they are. And they're just really cute kittens here. So we always want to talk about spaying and neutering. All of these kittens are beautiful and going to eat the microphone. Kittens are cute, but the reality is we need to make sure that we're spaying or neutering these guys and not having an excess number of kittens that are in shelters. And we're very fortunate that we have a very responsible community here in Ames, and by far most people are getting their pets spayed or neutered and keeping their cats indoors as required by our code, at least keeping them on the property, but most importantly getting them spayed and neutered so we don't have an excess population here in our community that we have to work with. So if you're interested in adopting a kitten, we'll have quite a few coming up in the next few weeks. If you want to just come on down to the shelter, you can check in with staff to see what we have available for adoption, and just kind of keep an eye on our website. As soon as these guys are available for adoption, you'll see them on our website under the cats available for adoption at the Ames shelter. So come on down and meet these beautiful guys once they're available for adoption. And our next guest with us today is Esme. Esme came into us as a stray. She is a beautiful, maybe even a Russian blue mix kitty. This gray coloring here is referred to as blue in the cat world. So she's got that little stripe of white there, but just a beautiful little kitten. Definitely older than the last three that you just saw. But she, of course, still needs to be spayed before she goes to her forever home. Do you? She's got those beautiful gold eyes. She wants to go down and play with the toys, I think is what she wants to do here. But came into us as a stray, so we didn't have anybody come forward. So we're going to get her spayed and find her that perfect, she loves that ear rub there, find that perfect forever home for her. Yeah, of course, as a kitten, she does have all of her claws, and we want to make sure that she keeps those. It's very important for them. It's the way that they were made, and we shouldn't be trying to change that. So she will be available for adoption. Again, she has to be spayed before she goes home. And of course, we're looking for that perfect forever home for her, where she's going to live indoors and be safe from cars and predators and all the dangers that exist in living outdoors. And even sometimes just being outdoors for short periods of time. So they can be perfectly happy living indoors with lots of enrichment, lots of toys, and great things to play with and a family to be part of. So if you're interested here in Esme, we think she's about 10 weeks old. So she is definitely old enough for her space surgery. We'll be getting that scheduled, and it's not going to hurt you, we promise. We'll be getting that scheduled and be looking for her forever home. So if you're interested in Esme, come on down to the shelter. We'd love to introduce you to her. And let's see if we can get you to show her pretty face there for the camera. There you go. And our next kitty here is very special, and we know they're all special, but this guy here is definitely very special to us. This is Zeppelin. Zeppelin came into us as a stray, so we don't know much about his history. What we do know and have found out since he's been here is that he has a very severe heart condition, a heart murmur. At this point, it's been diagnosed as a grade 4 out of 6, so 6 being the absolute worst. He's got a grade 4, so that's a pretty significant condition. We're actually going to be, thanks to our donors, we're going to be sending him to the Iowa Veterinary Referral Services, IVRC Center, IVRC, to have some additional diagnostics done for him. So that's going to include an echocardiogram, and just some additional vet exams and, a second opinion, again, of course, based on his condition to find out exactly how severe it is and what exactly can be done for him. Under extreme conditions, sometimes they do surgery, sometimes it's medication. Unfortunately, what happens with this kind of condition oftentimes is that it leads to a shorter lifespan for these guys. So we don't know until we get those additional diagnostics done. And again, have to throw in a huge thank you to all of our donors, the people who make this possible. The city provides great support for the shelter and provides for the daily needs and care for these guys. But the additional diagnostics for a cat like Zeppelin, we need to rely on donations to get that done. So his initial stuff was paid for through the city, but again, those additional diagnostics, and unfortunately the most expensive ones, the echocardiogram and other things like that, just take a lot of our donation money. But Zeppelin is absolutely worth it, as are all of the animals here that we use those donations for. So Zeppelin, right now we're accepting applications. Because of this condition, we don't want to send him home at this point. We want to get those additional diagnostics. Once we have some additional information, we want to make sure that, because it's again a lifetime commitment for these guys, so we want to make sure that someone's making the right decision on having a pet like Zeppelin, a cat like Zeppelin, adding it to the family, and making sure that that person has all the information possible to help make that decision, because there's going to be some ongoing care that Zeppelin's going to require, more than likely. So we just want to make sure that we get him the absolute best home and someone that's going to care for him and make sure he wants to go play with the toys too. Make sure that Zeppelin is going to get all the care and attention that he needs. So if you're interested in Zeppelin, come on down to the shelter. Again, we are accepting applications, so you can meet him. But we are accepting applications on him, and hopefully we'll have some answers really soon on exactly the care that he needs to make sure that he thrives for the rest of his life. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching the show. As you heard me mention several times, we couldn't do the work that we do here without donations. And just want to mention again, Missy Lou and Rex. You see them on the previous episode of Animals and Ames. We found a wonderful home that's going to be a foster to adopt. These guys still have a long road to recovery. They went so many years without vet care, and Missy Lou had just horrible, painful ear infections, and she's just going to have a long road to recovery. And one of the things that we're doing for them is sending them to the IVRC, Iowa Veterinary Referral Center, to get some additional diagnostics. And for Missy Lou, that's probably going to mean that the ear canals will have to be removed. Missy Lou can't hear a whole lot now because of those severe ear infections that have gone on for years and years and years. So that surgery is going to be quite expensive. So we're going to reach out to our donors and people who support the work that we do here and do all that we can to help Missy Lou. You know, in addition to that, Rex also needs to have some dental work done. So in addition to not dealing with any of the skin issues and the fleas and everything that was going on in the household, they also let the teeth get in very bad shape. So there's some extractions that need to happen. And, you know, these are all things that cost a lot of money. And unfortunately, the previous owner didn't do any of that. So we're going to do that. We're going to make sure that these guys have the absolute best chance at living the rest of their life pain-free in a loving home that's going to care for them and commit to them to make sure that they're being cared for. You know, we have a responsibility to care for our furry friends, and it's really hard for us to see when people don't make that commitment, and we're going to step up to the plate and do all that we can. But we do have limited resources, and you know, when we're talking about a lot of animals, and you know, this may sound harsh, but the reality is if you cannot provide the vet care, the love, the attention that these animals need, then perhaps you shouldn't have them. And I know I'm not speaking to any of those people that are watching this show because you're all wonderful pet lovers, but there's people out there that should not have pets. And again, I know that's harsh to say, but the reality is we deal with it all the time here in the shelter, and they deal with it all the time in shelters across the United States for people that don't care for these animals. So we're going to need your help again to help Missy Lou and Rex and make sure that they're going to, again, live in that environment where they're going to be pain-free and as comfortable and as loved and have vet care on a regular basis and everything that they should have had to begin with. So we're going to make sure that they get that. The same thing with Zeppelin. We're going to make sure that he gets the care that he deserves. So again, from the bottom of our hearts and all the animals that are here at the shelter, we can't thank you enough for your support, for helping all of these guys, and everything you do to make Ames an incredible community for the animals here, and everything that the Ames Animal Shelter does for the animals here in our community. Thanks for watching.